Someone sat in the chair last Sunday. It is the one by the window, with the flattened cushion and the arm worn pale on the left. Nobody in your house has ever said out loud that it is not to be used. Keep this playing. There is something you did in the 4 seconds after they sat down, and I have never told you what it was. You did not say anything. That is the part you have gone over. You were standing near the doorway with a cup in your hand. You watched somebody lower themselves into that chair without thinking about it at all. And the room kept going. Somebody laughed at something. The television stayed on. 4 seconds. Then you carried the cup through and put it down. Do not turn this off here. I am not going to tell you that the chair does not matter. It matters. I want to be very clear about that before we go any further. That chair has a shape in it. You can see the shape from the doorway when the light is low. You have hovered around it. You have set it back straight after a grandchild moved it. Once, at Christmas, you put a folded blanket over the arm so it would look used. That was 3 years ago, and you have never told anybody you did it. There is a reason nobody in your family has ever said the rule out loud, and it is not the reason you think. I will come back to it. First, I want to take away the thing you have been carrying since Sunday night. Here is the first true thing. That rule was never a rule. Nobody in your family ever decided it. There was no conversation. It happened in one afternoon, in the first week, when everybody was in the house at once and the kettle would not stop boiling. Somebody went to sit down. Somebody else caught their eye, and that was all it took. Nobody agreed to anything. Nobody was appointed. A room simply learned a shape and kept it. Which means the chair was never guarded by a promise. It has been guarded by a flinch. And a flinch can end without anybody breaking a promise. That is the first thing I wanted you to have. Stay for the next part, because this is where most people get it exactly backwards. They think grief is a weight. They think it presses on you and one day it lifts. That is not what it is. Grief is a room you learn to walk through in the dark. You know where the corner of the table is. You know which floorboard sounds. And when somebody switches a light on in that room, you do not feel relief first. You feel exposed. That is what Sunday was. Somebody switched a light on. I am going to name what you felt in those 4 seconds before this is over. It is not what your family would guess, and it is not what you would say either. Now think about the last 4 years and what you have actually been doing. You have kept 100 small arrangements that nobody else can see. The side of the bed you still do not use. The mug at the back of the cupboard. The way you still buy the mints nobody in the house eats. You have never once described any of this to another living person. Here is the second true thing. What frightened you on Sunday was not that somebody sat down in the chair. It was that you looked at it, and nothing tore. There was no wave. You just noticed the cushion give. Do not go yet. What I am about to say is the reason I brought the chair up at all. And then you thought, what kind of person feels that little? That is the sentence that kept you awake, not the chair. That sentence. I want you to hear me say something plainly. You did not lose your love on Sunday. Nothing about that person moved. Nothing about you thinned out. You have been running a test on yourself for 4 years without knowing it. The test is, does it still hurt as much? And you have been treating the answer as a report on how much you love them. It is not a report on your love. It never was. I will show you what it is a report on. If there is a chair in your house that nobody sits in, type amen below, and I will carry your evening. Now stay, because there is a second half to this, and it is the half nobody says out loud. A body cannot hold an alarm at full volume for 4 years. It is not built for it. So it does what I made it to do. It turns the alarm down, and it keeps the person. You have been reading the alarm going quiet as the person going quiet. Those are not the same event. One of them is your nervous system doing exactly what I designed. The other never happened. Look at what has actually gone quiet, and what has not. The alarm has gone quiet. You can hear the name now without your chest going tight. The person has not gone quiet at all. You still argue with them in the car. You still know what they would say about the neighbor's fence. Last month you laughed before you were sad, and you noticed that, and you did not like it. But nothing left the house. Something only stopped shouting. Here is the report you have actually been reading all this time. The sharpness was never the measure of the love. The sharpness was the measure of the surprise. A body is loudest when a thing is new to it. 4 years is not new to it. So the volume came down, exactly as it was built to, and you read the falling volume as falling love. I want to say this slowly because you have had it the wrong way round for a long time. Grief is loud at the start because you do not believe it yet. It gets quiet because you finally do. Quiet grief is not less love. Quiet grief is love that has stopped arguing with the facts. Now breathe with me for a moment, because the next part needs a steady chest. In. You are not letting go of anybody. Out. You are only breathing normally again. In. The quiet is not absence. Out. The quiet is what remembering sounds like after a while. There is one more turn in this, and it is about a chair in a very old story, so stay with it. Before that, let me come into your week, because I have seen it. Stay through this list. There is one item in it that I am going to come back to at the end. I have seen you at the sink at 9:30 with the radio on low, doing the 2 plates. I have seen you stop on the stairs, one hand on the rail, and not because of the stairs. I have seen you get to the front door and check for a second set of keys you have not carried since the spring. I have seen you answer the phone on the second ring because you still do not like it ringing in an empty hall. Keep this on. The next line is the one I want you to be sitting down for. And I have seen you sit in the other chair, not that one, the one beside it. 4 years, and you have never once sat in it yourself. You tell yourself that is respect. Look again and see whether it is something else. I have seen the Sunday afternoons, which are the long ones. I have seen you put the heating on an hour later than you want it, because there is only you. I have seen the shopping trolley with the small tins in it, and the pause in that aisle. I have seen you decide against the church coffee morning 3 weeks running, and go on the 4th. And I have seen you take the second cup down from the shelf, and stand there, and put it back. None of that is failing. All of it is a person keeping house around a hole. There is one thing in that list that is different from the others, and I will name it before I go. Now the old story. There was a young man called David who ate at a king's table. The king was Saul, and the meal was the new moon, and everybody had a place. David was not there that night. He was lying in a field, hiding, waiting for news. And the book keeps one small line from it. His seat was empty. Not his name, not his crown, his seat. Somebody in that hall looked at a place at a table and knew exactly what it meant. That is in there because it is how people work, and I put it in there on purpose. There is a second half to that story, and it comes years later, and hardly anyone reads it. The old king died. His son died with him. The house ended. And there was one grandson left, a man who could not walk, living far out in a hard place. Hold that empty seat in your mind. There is a second seat coming, and it undoes the first one. David sent for him. He was carried in, and he was frightened, and he did what frightened men do. He called himself a dead dog. He asked why anyone would look at him at all. And David gave him land, and servants, and one more thing, and the book says it 3 times. Watch what the book repeats here, because the repeating is the point. He ate at the king's table continually, as one of the king's own sons. 3 times, in one chapter. The book stops and says it again. He sat at the table. Here is the third thing. That table had a seat that used to belong to somebody else. The man who had eaten there was gone, and a new man was carried in and put in that place. And nobody in that hall thought the first man had been erased. Nobody thought less of the king. The king did it because he had loved the first man. The seat being filled was the proof, not the betrayal. That is what a seat is for. A seat is for the living, and it is filled in the name of the dead. Look at the two halves of that story side by side, because they are doing opposite work. In the first half, an empty place at a table tells the truth about somebody who is missing. In the second half, a filled place at a table tells the truth about somebody who is missing. Both are honoring. Both are remembering. The seat did not change its meaning by being sat in. And notice what the frightened man said when he was carried in. He called himself a dead dog. He assumed that if he sat there, he would be taking something. That is the same sum you did on Sunday. He was wrong about the sum, and the king never corrected him with an argument. He just fed him 3 times over for years. So now come back to Sunday and to the 4 seconds, because I want to give them to you properly. Here is the answer to the question you asked at the start. In those 4 seconds, you did not look at the chair. I was there. You looked at the person in it. And you leaned forward, about an inch, with a cup in your hand. You have leaned forward like that 1,000 times in that room, at that exact angle, for years. Your body did not check who was sitting there. It simply did the thing it has always done when somebody is in that chair and about to speak. You did not guard the chair. For 1 second, you kept house exactly as you used to. And then you caught yourself, and you carried the cup through, and you have been calling that a failure ever since. It was not a failure. It was the truest thing your body has said in 4 years. Stay for the last part, because there is one more layer under it, and it is the one that changes the room. The blanket over the arm at Christmas. I want to talk about that. You did that so the chair would look used, but look at who you did it for. Not for them. They did not need a blanket. You did it for the room, so the room would stop announcing it. You have been doing the work of a whole family on your own, in the dark, with a folded blanket. Nobody asked you to. Nobody would have. And I never did. Think about what that blanket was actually for. It was a costume for a chair. You were dressing a room so that nobody who came through the door would have to feel the thing you feel. That is not grief. That is hospitality, done at your own expense, for 4 years, with no help. And you never told a soul, which means nobody ever got to say thank you for it. So I will. Thank you for the blanket. I saw you fold it, and I saw which arm you put it on. Do not leave before the last part. What I have said so far is not yet the thing I came for. That is the one thing in the list that is different from the others. Everything else you did for them. That one you did for everybody else. If these evenings are worth something to you, subscribe and stay with this. I put a new message here every day, and there is a stream of light that runs through all of them, and it comes out of a door that is standing open. Now here is what I actually came to say tonight. The chair was never the seat of the one you lost. They had a chair, and you have a chair, and yours is the one beside it. For all those years, the shape you were making in a room was not a memorial. It was a pair. That is why the flinch. Not because somebody took their place. Because for 4 seconds, sitting there beside somebody, you were a pair again. And your body knew it before you did, and it leaned forward, and it was right. Hold that. There is one more turn in it, and then I will let you sleep. You have been guarding an empty chair. You were never asked to. You were asked to keep a person, and you have kept them perfectly. You keep them in the way you fold a towel, because somebody taught you that fold. You keep them in the mints nobody eats, and in the second ring of the telephone. None of that needs a chair to stay standing. None of it was ever stored in the cushion. So let the chair be a chair again. Sit in it yourself one evening with the lamp on. Nothing will be taken from you when you do. I have already checked. There is one more thing I have not told you, and it is not about the chair at all. It is about a name you say out loud when you are alone in the car, with the engine running and the door shut. You only say it there. There is a reason you only say it there, and it is not privacy. Not tonight. Come back tomorrow, and I will finish what I started. The chair by the window will still be there in the morning. Let somebody sit in it. You are loved. You are seen. You are mine.